Feel me like a Hellcat.
What's up guys, my name is JDCook5 and welcome back to another episode of the F1 2023 My Team career. We're getting a few little upgrades in before we head up to Australia, being the Melbourne circuit. Obviously we want to get up many as upgrades as possible, but we're only going to earn them from doing all the actual practices and the programs to be able to earn the acclaim and go from there. Obviously we need to earn the money to be able to do the facilities also, because there can be a lot of the times where things do fail. Just auto-filling with the activity role also. I really like this feature because instead of having to look at different things, you can just auto-fill it and just move on to the next thing, but still gain the right attributes from what you're doing. So very helpful little feature they've included this year. A lot of things to go through before we do get to Australia. A failure on the part for the chassis, the rear floor under tray. That failed, so that needs to go back in. And then we get a thing to choose our rival for the first time this season between Esteban Ocon and Alexander Albon. I've gone with Albon. I've battled more with him, I felt. Obviously Ocon on paper would be the stronger rider or driver, sorry. But yeah, I do believe I will go with Albon. So we're at the Australian Grand Prix and it is the first session of practice. We've got a slightly overcast but dry weather condition. Pictures screening with Albon. We're talking with his engineer. That will be my rival for the moment until they decide to choose otherwise. And we're going to get through some programs. The first one I did was the track, basically the thing where you obviously have to go through the gates. Always nice to be able to do this, to be able to hit the right corners and see what I can do in race. Also, using the hard tyre compound, which is a little bit different to what I'm used to, but I was quite happy using it. Enough grip. I did feel like I had to get it quite warm though in tyres. It felt a long while until they was getting up into temperature. But yeah, they wasn't too bad in honesty. The car felt actually not too bad. I felt like I was fast around here. I know the circuit quite well from the previous games. But yeah, it's always a nice circuit to drive around. It's a very fast one at the same time. A lot of kind of space that you can have on the track, but also many fast points with a lot of DRS, especially through these little bits where you've got the straight, then you hook straight into a left as soon as you do get into the corner. It is quite a long straight. Hook left and then you hook right and then you're back onto another DRS bit where you're able to grab more boost, and even when you put your overtake on you can go even faster. But yeah, as I say, a really enjoyable track, and I was enjoying doing these programs and seeing where the car was at, and I was doing some good times in honesty. I felt like I was alright. Not too bad whatsoever for what we've had so far. We've only had 2 races with the car and a handful of practice sessions. But yeah, we did manage to get a score over 470, so that was decent. After that, I was looking at the times, and I was actually sitting in 6th in practice. Obviously, it's only practice, but it's nice to be able to be in that sort of range where I'm the top 6. So yeah, it was nice in honesty. I go back out for a qualifying. The qualifying one, just where you do 1 lap with softs, just to be able to see what we would be like in the next session. Wasn't the best in all honesty in terms of what they predicted for me, but what I actually achieved in terms of going into the end of practice is actually different. So really strange. I felt fast, but the delta wasn't seen to match it whatsoever. Not too sure if that's just a bug in the game, because I was definitely fast by going top in practice at the end of this lap. But yeah, an interesting one. Obviously this is a new game, so we're going to be looking at all these different things, and there's going to be bugs and updates and so on, so it's something that can't be helped if it were to be something that's not right. I crossed the line with a decent time. They wanted me to target a 119, which I thought was very hard to do in honesty. Managed to cross the line with a 126.45, which I don't think was too bad, and it was actually 700ths of a second quicker than everyone else in practice. So nice to be able to top the practice leaderboards there. Obviously, as I say, practice doesn't mean anything unless you put it into the race, but practice makes perfect, and that is the most important thing. Going into the qualifying session, I was actually quite confident in all honesty. I felt like I could make a good lap time, and it didn't take me long to do so. Was able to warm up the tyres by doing a drive out lap just to be able to get them up to temp and hopefully make a decent lap of it. As I say, running you through the circuit, you get a decent straight going on there. It's really fast down this straight. You can pick up a lot of speed. Hard on the brakes into the right, and as you go onto the right, you shimmy to the left and you go into another DRS zone where it is a decent straight. Again, there's a lot of straights in this circuit, funny enough. Not a kind of one where it's mostly predominantly corners and it's not a short straight, sorry, in its very long ones. After a similar kind of corners there, again back into another straight. You don't get any DRS at this point onwards. But I was recording a decent time. Purple sector there, obviously there's not going to be many people on the track, so I would have thought I'm probably the first person to do so that's why it's purple sector. And then you go into another long straight with a vast amount of DRS hitting the lights. I think it's about 200 miles an hour. I think that you can hit about 207, 208 going into this straight. Hard on the brakes, into the left, into right, and then back on the power, going into another DRS zone where we were able to put the power in more. Fernando Alonso grabbing the fastest lap as the first lap to be able to record it in this qualifying session. Interesting to see where he's at and if I could match that. Only a few corners until I go over the finish line and we see what time we get. Deep into there, and we are slow out of that corner in honesty, and it is a big corner here where you have to be full on the power and commit, and we go over the finish line to record a 1:20.352, which means I am top as of the moment. I didn't feel like I actually had to go out after that because I was looking at times and I was accelerating the time and I was sitting in 6th, which I was very happy with in all honesty. If I even went down to 9th, 10th, I would still be happy. I record a 7th place finish in the end, which is a really strong finish from us, and obviously we're nearly in the top 6. Right behind Leclerc, Verstappen on pole with Perez and Sainz making up the top 3. But some big names in there right in front of me, and I'm not far off the pace whatsoever, so it was really interesting to see where the car was at.
This circuit missed a few years off the F1 calendar, and we missed Albert Park. So welcome back, and it's great to be back in Melbourne. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Cook, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Norris, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Joe, Oscar Piastri, Liam Lawson, Albon, De Vries, Albon. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And a warm welcome, of course, to my co-commentator here today. It's Natalie Pinkham. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen?
What a quality performance. The big question, though, is how does that translate on race day? Can they hold on to that lead? And apart from that, keep an eye out for anyone getting a good launch from the midfield. You see it happen from time to time, and it can really throw a spanner into the races of the quicker cars and push them onto a more risky strategy.
So we're coming to the end of our formation lap and getting our grid position all correct and to be able to get optimal for the best start possible. Charles Leclerc right in front of us with Bottas and Alonso right behind us. We get an optimal start there, which is lovely. That puts us in the best stead possible. All we've got to do is make a good start off the line. Just waiting for the back markers to form the grid and we can get on our way and start this race in Australia. So it's the 5 lights. As soon as they turn out, we are off and away we go. 5 lights, and we've got Hamilton in front of us, we've got Russell in front of us, Leclerc to our right. We have gone past him, but he's gone back past us early onto the brakes to make sure there's no collisions whatsoever. We've got Leclerc, we've got Russell, Hamilton right in front of us. We have still got Bottas and Alonso, with Alonso battling Bottas. I'm on the inside of Leclerc, just trying to see if there's any sort of room whatsoever, but I'm early back onto the brakes just to avoid any collision. There's a yellow flag behind me. There's been contact made with the pack, obviously going around these corners with such tight kind of space with the amount of people that are on track. There is bound to be a few collisions. Late onto the brakes there, and Leclerc is making a brilliant start off there, and he is able to be 800th of a second already in front of us. He's got Russell and Hamilton just in front of him as well, I do believe, with Alonso just being able to get past Bottas as he is on the quicker tyre compared to compared to Bottas. So he's on the soft and Bottas is on the mediums. Going nicely into there, and we're back on the power, and that wasn't too bad. But we have got Alonso to our right, and he squeezes us out of there. But I'm sticking with that line. As soon as I stick with that line, he backs off, and I'm able to go into that corner, still in front of him, still in 7th place, as we go into the left and go straight into the right, and we go on the straight to be able to complete the first lap of the Melbourne Grand Prix. Verstappen claimed the fastest lap. Of course he is. He is absolutely insane this year. But we still have Alonso right to our right hand side there as we go into the corner. He allows me the space just to be able to go in there and with no collisions. Lap 3 of 20 now, and he's still behind me, and he's on my right hand side again. I stick to my line, but he covers it really well, and he is able to overtake me there. He is proving to be a right menace with us, and I definitely feel like we're going to have a lot of battles with him there. Just being able to edge past him there with lap 4 of 20, and that was a nice overtake. Real wheel to wheel there, but allowed enough space, and there was no contact made whatsoever. This has been a hectic start to the race, to be honest. Leclerc is well in front, and we're not thinking about him whatsoever. I definitely believe it's going to be the race for the points, as it were, and there's going to be a very tight contending with myself, Alonso, and then we've got Stroll right behind him also. Alonso is not letting up whatsoever, and we've got a yellow flag there. We've got resume racing, but I think we're going to get another yellow flag coming up as we go further on. Alonso trying to get the gap there, but he is not able to get it whatsoever. We've still got a yellow flag coming up. It's just what pops up. Is there going to be a safety car? Is there going to be a red flag? Is there been a stop on the track? We will find out any minute now. And Oscar Piastri, he is out again. Another mechanical failure for the young man. And unfortunately, that makes it 2-2 where he has gone out for mechanical failures. And life in McLaren is really not good for him. And unfortunately, that is him out of the race. Real poor start from him, and he must be kicking himself to think what is happening right now. McLaren seem to be having many issues, and they need to sort that if they want to gain any sort of points this season. We're not too worried about them though, because our main worry is Alonso that is still behind us, and he's trying to get the room there, but he's just not able to get past us. Keeping him at bay, but he's literally right there. He could go past us any minute now with Stroll behind us, Gasly behind us. It is a tight one to say the least. We have the back end literally running out on us, but we have to keep our cool, stay behind Alonso, and hopefully he makes a mistake and we can overtake him. Alonso being proven to be fast in this race, and he's still in front, not being able to get much advantage, but the DRS helps out a little bit. Late onto the brakes, he seems a bit slow into that corner with a nice exit out there. Hopefully I can gain the DRS just a little bit to be able to get past him. He's on the left, he's on the right, he doesn't know where to go. I'm on the right of him, not being able to prove, but he does make a mistake and we are through. He gets out of our way, he's late onto the brakes, but he's not able to get it stopped enough, and he has to go to his left, otherwise there'd be a big collision there. Respect for him giving me the space, and I'm able to scoot past him, and we get called the 7th lap out of 20, and we are currently in 7th place. I don't think that's going to last much longer though, because yeah, he's straight past me. The straight speed is unbelievable when you get the DRS. Without it, you feel so kind of just vulnerable, and you can just be deemed to be overtaken straight away. I've still got his teammate Stroll right behind me. I've got to keep an eye on him. Ocon just behind him also. There's definitely more room for error for all these different drivers, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Late onto the brakes there, and I nearly swerve out. I'm really late into there, but we have now got to pit. Lap line of 20, it is box. Run the pit limiter straight on, and we have to get this optimal stop because we need as much time as possible to be able to be gained right here, so hopefully we can do so. Purple optimal, lovely stuff. Hopefully we get a 2.5 pit stop from the boys. We definitely do. And that is us done. We are on the medium tyres, and that will be us for the rest of the race. Alonso's still in front of me. He's got a bit of advantage now. He's gone into the pits before me, and he has had a fast pit stop at that. We're going to be on cold tyres here, but hopefully my teammate Lawson can help me out that little bit, as he is just in front of Alonso, and he might be able to hold him up. You never know. He's probably got DRS on this straight though, and I wouldn't be surprised if he overtakes him. Now we're overtaking the people that have just pitted, and that puts us back into more positions. And yeah, he has overtaken Lawson. Not surprised, to be honest. He's going to have the faster car, and definitely with the experience that he hasn't got, he'll just go straight past Lawson. And yeah, it's definitely a vulnerable one for him. And we try to overtake him there, and he gave us a little bit of room, but unfortunately for him, we do go past him. Nice to be able to get past my teammate without any collisions. I wouldn't want to cause any bother to the car in the race. Going past some more people that are in the pits, and we haven't lost any positions. Currently sitting in 8th. Obviously Alonso overtook us to be in 7th. So we haven't dropped down too much from our original qualifying position, and we're not doing too badly whatsoever. Current gap is about a second at the moment. Hamilton's in front of Alonso, and I've got Stroll and Ocon behind me. Decent gap between them two, so I guess the fight realistically is only me and Alonso. Going into the 17th lap here, he has gained so much time on me, and the tyres have gone. You can tell I'm swerving side to side. Still got a decent gap behind me, but unfortunately in front of me I have got clear track. Really frustrating race as of the moment. I feel like I'm doing well, don't get me wrong, but there's definitely no battles. I could have definitely done with a yellow flag or a red flag just to help me out that little bit more, because luck doesn't seem to be on our side as of the moment. As I say, we're sitting in 8th, but the tyres are just all over the place. The time behind us is going down so quickly as we approach the end of the race also, which is a very concerning factor. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to see how we end this last bit of the race. 2 laps left. Tyres are completely shot. I've pushed them to the maximum, and they have deteriorated so quickly in the heat. And they are closing the gap even more with a 2.7 gap between me and Stroll. Norris just behind him, probably getting the DRS from Stroll, and he will be sticking with him also. So I think that will be the next 2 that I have to worry about to the end of this race. Only 2 laps left though, so hopefully I can fend them off and get the points that I need. Lap 19 of 20, and they've gained even more time with me now, getting in the DRS sectors to be able to gain the advantage over me. Going into the last lap, I can see them just in the peripheral of my rear view mirror as we turn into the very last corner going into here. Hard on the right, all on the power, give it all that we've got, and we cross the line to be able to go for the last lap of the Australian Grand Prix. They are gaining on me like it is anything here. You can tell they've got the DRS, and that is helping them out very much so. Just the time, and now you've got Norris in front of him, so Norris is now overtaken Stroll, so it's definitely going to be someone that I'm going to be looking out for. You can see his orange car right behind me, beaming in the sunshine, just waiting to overtake as he gets even closer to the back of my car. Not a lot I can do. I'm giving it my all. I'm swaying side to side. The tyres are not with me whatsoever. He's going to be on me any minute now, I can tell. Really late into there, and I'm worse even on that one as well. I just can't seem to get the car where I want it to go. Now on this straight, he's going to have the DRS, and this is definitely the optimal time for him to overtake me and make that opportunity stick. He's on the left. I don't know if he's going to go on the inside or the outside, but we're able to defend that there. Really hard into there. We nearly swayed from him. We're on the gravel and we near into him, and unfortunately he overtakes us. Max Verstappen crossing the line, and we do get a collision with Norris there, as I say. Verstappen winning the race, but we're not too fussed about that because we've got Stroll, we've got Ocon behind us. A collision into the back of me as I throw my hands up in disarray and wonder what is going on at the moment. Norris still in front of me, and it looks like he's going to cross the line to be able to claim that 8th spot on the last lap of the Australian Grand Prix. A nice enough gap behind us, and that does confirm that we are able to finish P9. So that's P9, position 9, and we have crossed the line. And what a race. I mean, it was a bit of a weird one at the start. It was hectic, it was competitive, and a lot of the time I felt as soon as Alonso went straight in front of me, I had nothing to do. But them last few laps, Jesus, that was intense. Lando Norris claiming driver of the day, and fair enough, he had a monumental race to be able to get back into the positions that he did. That last lap from him, he was putting his foot down, something chronic, I tell you. Fair play to him, and he does cross the line in front of me. Confirmation of Max Verstappen winning with Leclerc. I thought, is that going to be Leclerc or Sainz? I'm not too sure. We'll see in a minute when they hit the podium. But yeah, a decent race from us. We're on the points once again. A bit more consistency from us, and there's definitely progress being made with this car. There's no saying that we cannot be a front runner next season. It's just about gaining the time now and hopefully moving on. So yeah, you do have Verstappen, Leclerc and Russell on the 3 steps. There he is, shaking the hand and claiming his trophy. Very well deserved from them, and Red Bull have an insane car this year. They are unbeatable and untouchable, to be honest. It has only been Red Bull that has claimed the top spot all season. So there we have, that's the standings there, confirmation of us finishing 9th. Liam Lawson, our teammate, in 19th. Not a bad race from him, could be better though, and hopefully he is able to get up the standings very soon. So we're currently in 9th with, what we got, 6 points at the moment, 1 point behind Lando Norris. We would have probably gone 8th, if we would have stood in front of him, and then we've got Stroll behind us in the standings. Very good race though, and I'm very proud of the team and that car. We are definitely making big steps, and I do look forward to the next Grand Prix in Azerbaijan. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more content just like this one, and don't forget to hit the notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.
Coming like a Hellcat.